What's up, everyone? Ronnie Cruz here with Path of the Network Marketer, day 4. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. And if you're listening, this is the first episode you're listening to. You can go back. This is only the 4th episode, so you can go back and listen to the first 3 and get all caught up, because I am talking about my origin story, as it were, in the network marketing profession. And so this is going to be the last chapter, at least for now, that I devote to talking about myself. So I want to, as with yesterday, I am still at the campground, so you're going to hear some background noises: cars, RVs, kids playing, the occasional dog barking. I will do my best to cut all of that out and record around it. However, there will be some times where that's unavoidable, so just bear with me. It is what it is. Yeah. I mean, I tell you guys that just so you know that, like, I'm not in the middle of traffic or anything, but hopefully it'll be minimal, so that you guys hear a clear story and are able to enjoy this last chapter of my network marketing origin story. Okay, so where I left off yesterday, the second company that I joined in this profession was a company called Zango, and that was all great. Like, I really actually loved that company. I loved the team that I was a part of. I connected with some amazing individuals who I'm still friends with today. So my castmate from Pirates of the Caribbean, I didn't end up working with him that much in Zango. He wasn't really very active. So I went upline. I connected with an amazing individual by the name of Eugene Hong, who I still work with a lot today. We're still very, very good friends. And then also further upline, our dear friend and mentor, Mr. Corey Citron. So that was, again, it was an amazing organization, and I really loved my time there. I loved the company, and I loved what they were doing. However, okay, so at this point, we're talking about it's around 2007, 2008. And, I was still kind of, working at the movie theater. My money from Pirates had pretty much gone dry at this point, but I was still, very much wanting to pursue an acting career, and that kind of held me over up until then. And so at this point, I decided around 2008, I think it was, or late 2007, I decided to move out to Los Angeles. A bunch of friends that I connected with on Pirates. We were working on some scripts, and we want to develop some scripts. And of course, for me, it's like, well, if I'm going to pursue acting, I got to be where acting is at. So might as well get out to LA, where all of that is, as well as both Eugene and Corey were out in Los Angeles as well. So I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I could build my network marketing business, my Zango business, and pursue acting at the same time. And there was more people in Los Angeles, certainly, than where I was living in North Carolina. So that's what I did. I went out there and kind of couch surfed for a while. And I got to give a shout out to my good friend, Mr. David Kono, who let me crash on his couch for the whole time. Actually, the whole time I was living in Los Angeles. And this was actually after couch crashing when I was shooting on Pirates. This was already years after Pirates. I might as well give a shout out to my good friend from Pirates of the Caribbean, Ledette, who had let me crash on his couch while we were shooting Pirates. So, I owe a lot to a lot of people who were willing to kind of, support me when I needed support, especially, as broke as I was. It was just such a help. And I really, like, looking back, I don't know how I got through those years when I was barely making any money. Anyways, back to the story. I moved out to LA, was living in an amazing house with some friends out in Glendale, and yeah, obviously with the intention of building my business and continuing to work, and try to break into the movie industry. And that was all well and good. I was working, actually I was working with Eugene at his other business. He still has a food and catering business, and so I was working there part time, a few days a week to kind of get by, right? Like, so I had income. while building my Zango business. And it was around spring 2008, I believe it was, that Eugene pulled me aside and he said, Ronnie, I need to tell you something. And I was like, yeah, sure, what's up, man? And so he proceeds to tell me that Corey Citron, our upline and mentor, was leaving the company. And my initial reaction was like a complete shock because like Corey was at the top of his game at this point, as far as being a distributor in the network marketing profession. He was one of the top earners in the company. He had a massive worldwide organization. So it just kind of baffled me why he would leave all of that, right? And so Eugene proceeds to tell me that actually some other leaders from Zango had approached Corey to start their own network marketing company. And as it turns out, I guess they were privy to kind of some trends that were happening behind the scenes within Zango. I mean, I don't know the 100% truth of it, but for me, as my mentors and individuals that I looked up to, if they were, saw something about the company that gave them enough reason to leave, then yeah, I mean, that was good enough for me. I trusted these guys. I had seen what they were capable of achieving, and it, like for me, it just made sense to follow them when they start their brand new endeavor, their brand new network marketing company, and also too, as fairly still a little bit of a novice back then, the opportunity to get started in a ground floor of a startup seemed really attractive to me. Like I got to be honest. Like I thought that this was going to be my ticket to success. If I just get started, there will be I'll be at the top of the company. Obviously, that's not how it worked out. Eugene and I followed Corey and the rest of the founders of Yoli to Yoli, and it was yeah. Well, that's how we found Yoli, right? It was the official launch was in the fall of 2009, and. Like Eugene was naturally gifted and talented and skilled networker. Like he was great at networking with people. Like through his being an entrepreneur already, he just had gotten good at it, and so his Yoli career launched very quickly. He was at the top of the company very quickly. For me, it was a little bit of a struggle. I thought that again, the launch of a startup or joining a company during startup was going to be a ticket, or at least would have made my job easier. But what I learned was that it didn't really translate to much success. Again, as with Quickstar, I think I signed up like 3 or 4 people at launch, and so I mean it was much the same work. So I pretty much had to do the same work that I did in my previous companies. Like I had a little bit of traction with Zango, but by the time we had left for Yoli, it had all pretty much kind of collapsed on itself. Especially once the news that the leaders were going to leave. At least these leaders were going to leave and start their own company. Again, they were very prominent leaders in Zango, and that kind of stirred the pot quite a bit. So I wasn't leaving much, and I didn't have much to take with me, right? So yeah, start from scratch. I didn't have scratch, and I'm starting from scratch. That's how my transition to Yoli happened. Yoli was the struggle. 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. The fall of 2012 was kind of like, okay, that's 3 years. I'm still not really making a ton of money. This would have been cumulatively at this time almost, I don't know, 6.5 years in the profession as a whole with Zango and Quickstar, right? So, something really had to give. And again, the only reliable source of income that I had was a movie theater. Like I had moved back to North Carolina at this point, and yeah, it was just no bueno. I was getting more and more broke. But I was still, very, very enthusiastic about the profession. Again, I had partnered up with some great people in Zango, and I followed those people to Yoli, right? And so, they believed in me. I continue to grow, my support system. I continue to grow myself. Really, primarily was what it amounted to, and I just kept plugging away. Even though I felt frustrated, pretty much 99% of the time. I had a strong belief in what this profession can do. I had a strong belief. I cultivated a strong belief in myself and my abilities as I got better and better at what I did, and eventually, yeah, like my efforts hit a tipping point, right? My efforts hit a critical mass where all that consistency and effort and devotion to getting better, number one, and doing the income producing activities, right, consistently doing those, um, it finally started to kind of add up, right? It started to take shape, and it was the spring, late winter, early spring of 2013 when my business took a hockey stick growth, right? I went from, I'm not going to quote incomes necessarily, but I went from a very low rank to one of the top ranks in the entire company by August. Um, and yeah, that's kind of, yeah, that catapulted me into the limelight of the company and in the profession. I've gone on to since speak on many platforms. I've spoken on Yoli platform for sure. I've spoken also on the Mastermind platform. I've spoken at galas and in front of celebrities. It's been quite a crazy ride. Of course, there was more growing to do from there. Right, 2013, I was shoved into not just the limelight, but I was shoved into leadership. Again, thankfully, I had done a lot of work on myself leading up to that. Right, like the whole time that I was in network marketing, I was always kind of working on personal development and self help and things like that. And so I was mostly prepared for it, but of course, with leadership, you're thrown into new things that you got to grow into, and I definitely had to do that, and so yeah, well, that was my trajectory, and so yeah, that was 2013. And of course, here I am today. It's 2022. I'm still in the, I that year I hit the top 10 of the company. I'm still in the top 10 today. I've got one of the largest organizations in the entire company. Um, of course, that's not to just toot my own horn. That's definitely thanks to all the amazing leaders that have come into my life, come into my organization, and been willing to go to work and develop themselves as well. So yeah, it's been a crazy ride. Now, what's happened post pandemic, obviously, I think with everybody, the pandemic did a number on a lot of businesses, and I think network marketing um, wasn't immune to that. My company certainly wasn't immune to that. We saw, I mean, a lot of people's focus changed, and especially if you're kind of, new, or you're not making a lot of money. The last thing you're going to want to think about in a pandemic is your network marketing business. So I did lose a portion of my business during these actually still happening, right, these pandemic years. And so the last year and a half or so has been a lot of rebuilding, and that's what puts me right now with teaching myself and learning online marketing and social media marketing, because it's just seems silly not to. With the pandemic, I learned that, well, I definitely pivoted immediately when the lockdown happened. I went straight to virtual presentations, and provided that platform, or I created a platform and provided that for my team to be able to plug into a regular community and a regular presentation on a weekly basis, and that helped a lot. Like, that really helped keep a lot of businesses and a lot of individuals, as well, in terms of their network marketing business. I think that helped keep them above water. Um, and until we were able to kind of get back into the living rooms and meeting in person and doing in person events. That said, it's gone beyond that. Like I think a lot of people, once they learned the power of doing things virtually, it just like, yeah, some people just don't want to go back to doing in person things, or at least want to operate on a different level and a different scale. Now, there will always be people that will want to do things in person. Again, I'm not saying that there's one right way of doing things, but for me, why not? Yeah, why not explore these things? I mean, I've been doing virtual anyways for the last 2 years. Why not explore the other avenues and the other aspects that could expand my growth, that could expand my business, and of course expand my reach. And that's part of why I'm doing this podcast, right? So that brings us current. That brings us current. So moving forward, I'm going to start sharing with you guys some of the things I've learned thus far about online, about social media, about marketing, the things that are just kind of on my radar right now. And so it's going to be hopefully a fun journey for you, as it is for me, as I share with you guys every day some of the stuff that I'm learning along the way, right? So that you can, if you're interested, so that you can employ it for your own business. And of course, yeah, it's a conversation, right? It's not just a one-way thing. If you guys have anything that you're learning that has helped you guys, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to either share that with the audience, or even have you on the podcast and we can do an interview with you, and you can share what's working for you. I would love to do that as well. I mean, I'm as much a student right now as I am a teacher. So yeah, whatever capacity that you want to get involved, it is a path of the network marketer, and that includes your path as well. So yeah, lots of good fun coming your way. So that's it for now, guys. More to come from me. Again, I mentioned at the beginning, if you haven't liked and subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the show wherever you happen to be listening to the show on. If you want to, if you feel compelled, please go ahead and leave a rating and a review. That would really help get the word out about the show. I'm trying to build beyond just trying to expand my reach. I'm also trying to build a community as well, right? Like, because this is something that I think we could all benefit from in terms of sharing our perspectives. Like, if we can help more network marketers achieve the things that they want to achieve, I think that makes it better for everyone, right? So I love it, and I appreciate you guys hanging in there and taking this journey with me. We'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, be well, be safe, and may the force be with you.